Okay, we're back to the Flask tutorial that's on flask.paletsprojects.com. We've already covered the Part 1 project layout. We're going to move on now to application setup. Application setup, a Flask application is an instance of the Flask class. Everything about the application, such as configuration and URLs, will be registered with the class. The most straightforward way to create a Flask application is to create a global Flask instance directly at the top of your code, like how the Hello World example did on the previous page. While this is simple and useful in some cases, it can cause some tricky issues as the project grows. Instead of creating a Flask instance globally, you will create it inside a function. This function is known as the application factory. Any configuration, registration, and other setup the application needs will happen inside the function. Then the application will be returned. The application factory. It's time to start coding. Create the Flaskr directory and add the dunder-init.py file. The dunder-init.py file serves double duty. It will contain the application factory, and it tells Python that the Flaskr directory should be treated as a package. So we're going to make the Flaskr directory, and then we're going to make the dunder-init.py file. And in that file, we're going to import OS, and then from Flask, we're going to import Flask. And we're going to define the create app function, def create underscore app, and in parentheses it's taking a test underscore config equals none. The comment says create and configure the app. App equals Flask, open parenthesis, dunder name, comma, instance underscore relative underscore config equals true, close parenthesis. App.config.from underscore mapping, open parenthesis, all uppercase, secret underscore key equals quote dev unquote, comma. All uppercase database equals os.path.join, open parenthesis, app.instance underscore path, comma, quote, flaskr.sqlite, close quote, close parenthesis, comma, close parenthesis. So that takes care of the app config from mapping. Then there's an if condition. If test underscore config is none, comment says load the instance config if it exists when not testing. App.config.from underscore py file, open parenthesis, quote, config.py, unquote, comma, silent equals true, close parenthesis. Else, load the test config if passed in. App.config.from underscore mapping, open parenthesis, test underscore config, close parenthesis. Next comment says, ensure the instance folder exists. Try os.makeDirs, open paren, app.instance underscore path, close paren, except OS error, pass. The next comment says a simple page that says hello. So we have the decorator, @signed, app.route, open parens, quote, slash hello, close quote, close parens, def hello, open close parens, return, quote, hello world, unquote, then return the app. So this create underscore app is the application factory function. You'll add to it later in the tutorial, but it already does a lot. There's 5 items here. The first item says app equals Flask, open paren dunder name, comma, instance underscore relative underscore config equals true. That first item creates the Flask instance. The dunder name here is the name of the current Python module. The app needs to know where it's located to set up some paths, and dunder name is a convenient way to tell it that. Instance underscore relative underscore config equals true. That tells the app that configuration files are relative to the instance folder. The instance folder is located outside the Flaskr package and can hold local data that shouldn't be committed to version control, such as configuration secrets and the database file. So the second item says app.config.from underscore mapping, open close parens. This sets some default configuration that the app will use. Secret underscore key is used by Flask and extensions to keep data safe. It's set to dev to provide a convenient value during development, but it should be overridden with a random value when deploying. Database is the path where the SQLite database file will be saved. It's under app.instance underscore path, which is the path that Flask has chosen for the instance folder. You'll learn more about the database in the next section. Third item under create underscore app is app.config.from underscore py file, open close parens. This overrides the default configuration with values taken from the config.py file in the instance folder, if it exists. For example, when deploying, this can be used to set a real secret underscore key. The test underscore config can also be passed to the factory and will be used instead of the instance configuration. This is so the tests you'll write later in the tutorial can be configured independently of any development values you have configured. The fourth item, os.makeDirs open close parens. This ensures that the app.instance underscore path exists. Flaskr doesn't create the instance folder automatically, but it needs to be created because your project will create the SQLite database file there. The fifth item is decorator @app.route open close parens. This creates a simple route so you can see the application working before getting into the rest of the tutorial. It creates a connection between the URL /hello and a function that returns a response, the string quote hello world unquote in this case. Next heading is run the application. Now you can run your application using the Flaskr command. From the terminal, tell Flaskr where to find your application, then run it in debug mode. Remember, you should still be in the top level /dask tutorial directory, not the Flaskr package. Debug mode shows an interactive debugger whenever a page raises an exception, and restarts the server whenever you make changes to the code. You can leave it running and just reload the browser page as you follow the tutorial. $Flaskr --app Flaskr run --debug. You'll see output similar to this. Serving Flaskr app Flaskr. Debug mode is on. Running on HTTP 127.0.0.1 port 5000. Press Ctrl+C to quit. Restarting with stat. Debugger is active. Debugger pin NNN-NNN-NNN. Visit http://127.0.0.1:5000/hello in a browser and you should see the hello world message. Congratulations, you're now running your Flaskr web application. If another program is already using port 5000, you'll see OS error (erno98 close brackets) or (win error 10,013) when the server tries to start. See address already in use for how to handle that. Then continue on to the next section to find and access the database.